Hello and welcome to the Financial Planning Association of Colorado video blog series. Today I'm very excited to have with me Keith Fevurly, who I'll tell you about in just a minute. My name is Christy Sullivan with Sullivan Financial Planning. I am on the PR committee for FPA of Colorado. If you are interested in participating in a video blog and letting the FPA members know more about you, please contact Leslie and she will help you set up an appointment. All right, now to Mr. Fevurly. Keith Fevurly is a CFP and an attorney. He holds graduate degrees in business with a concentration in finance, law, and taxation. He has been a certified financial planner for over 30 years and maintains a private law practice in retirement and estate planning in Centennial, Colorado. Mr. Fevurly is also an investment advisor with Integra Financial in Greenwood Village, which is a registered investment advisor. Mr. Fevurly is retired from Metro State University in Denver, and he has taught as a senior lecturer in finance for 13 years. At MSU Denver, he taught a number of corporate and personal finance courses, including undergraduate degrees in financial services and non-credit CFP educational programming. Prior to his service with MSU Denver, Mr. Fevurly served as Executive Director for Kaplan University's Certificate in Financial Planning program and as Vice President of Education for the College of Financial Planning in Denver, Colorado. He has participated in the education of over 50,000 financial services professionals. So probably all of us watching have been touched by Mr. Fevurly's work, so thank you. Mr. Fevurly is an author of several financial planning books, including Plan Your Financial Future and The Handbook for Professionally Managed Assets, both published by Appriss Publishing in New York City, New York. He has recently written a third book for financial planning practitioners entitled Planning for the Elderly, A Financial Guide for Aging, published by Kindle Direct Publishing and available through Amazon later in 2020. So Keith, thank you so much for being here. Let me start by asking you, what are you currently up to? We've heard about your many past accomplishments. What's happening now?
Well, thank you for the introduction. I have been trying to adjust to retirement, I would guess. When you've worked as long as I have, and I guess done as many things as I have, it is a hard transition a difficult transition to convert completely into a retirement mode. But to answer your question more directly, over the last year, I've been working on the book that you mentioned, and I have been teaching on a part-time basis for MSU Denver, both in their degree program and in their certificate program. I've also been an investment advisor and still am an investment advisor with Integra. So I've been advising people as to their portfolio allocations and investments in terms of retirement, including me and myself and my wife, because we're pretty important clients as far as I'm concerned. I have also been doing some estate planning. I've been an estate planner since 1976, and I was in Kansas as an estate planner there, estate planning attorney, and then was also did estate planning as an attorney since '87 when I was brought into I became a member of the Colorado Bar. I got my CFP in '86, and so it was a very nice combination to financial and estate planning, because all of my estate planning clients had financial planning issues, usually retirement related or investment related, but there were certainly issues, also tax related. So I did that. I've been doing that for over 30 years. In the last year or so, I have really backed away from that. I don't have but really one or two clients. I'm not taking any more new clients, although I've got plenty of old clients that I'm still working for. So that keeps me busy. But to your general question, I'm just trying to adapt to retirement.
Well, thank you for being honest about the transition. And I think many
Yeah.
of us as planners have seen that the transition is difficult. And maybe as a financial advisor, we don't ever fully retire. We just go to a very conservative allocation eventually.
There
right?
you go. There you go.
Right. Okay. Well, and part of what my second question was, I think you've already answered, which was tell us about your background in financial planning, which you've sort of spoken to already, and we did in the introduction as well.
Right.
So I'm curious, can you tell us a little bit more about your family and how maybe that kind of dovetails into this adjustment to retirement?
Oh, I'm always happy to talk about my family, particularly my daughter and son. They are, somebody had to ask me about my greatest accomplishments, and I guess there were lots of accomplishments in that bio or in that intro, but far and away, my greatest accomplishments are my kids, my daughter and son. My daughter is a new mother. She is a surgeon. She's a general surgeon. Got her degree from University of Colorado. Went to University of Colorado as an undergraduate, and so she is pretty much raising her child. Her and her husband's my son-in-law's child. My son-in-law is a interventional radiologist. I think that's what you call him.
Wow.
Anyway, he's in this very specialized specialty, and he is a doctor with at Boston Children's Hospital, and so they live in Boston, outside of Boston. In fact, their next door neighbor up until recently was Tom Brady. So
oh wow, that's
kind of interesting. Whoops. I can't. Okay, now I'm back on there. I couldn't see it. Anyway, and then my son, Grant, my daughter's name is Rebecca Dawn. We call her Dawn. Don't ever call her Rebecca. She doesn't like that name, even though we gave it to her.
And your son is Grant?
My son is Grant, and he is a attorney with the Attorney General's office at the state Attorney General's office, and he works downtown in that office building down there. Before that, he was a assistant district attorney, deputy district attorney with the 18th Judicial District out in Centennial. So he went after the bad guys.
Great.
But he and my daughter-in-law Megan, who works at the Denver Center for Performing Arts. She has a theater degree. They have a daughter, Vivian, who was our first granddaughter, and then our second granddaughter is her name is Zara, and that is the child of my daughter and son-in-law back in Boston, who we would very much, this COVID pandemic has affected all of us, and we'd very much like to go back to Boston to see them, but we can't right now.
There's a lot we can't do right now, but a lot that we can. So at least you have maybe the opportunity for some FaceTiming or Skyping. Not like when we were kids, it couldn't do that with our grandparents. And remember the long distance calls.
Yes.
So Thank you, Keith. Thank you so much for participating in this interview. It's so great to have a fresh face here. We'll look forward to being able to see you again when we can all meet in person again
Yes.
as FPA
Yes.
members, which I know we all miss. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, Keith, for participating. I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.